that I drew something, sculptures, and all of a sudden, don't ask me why, but there was this initial thought of, let's make it a handbag, without knowing anything about handbags. I'm not even a handbag addict. But I saw it, and maybe because I was trained as an actress to improvise. So we did it like a sport. If you look at the pen, create something out of it, or tell us a story about that, or play a bird. To be very quick in doing something, and that's how this started. Okay, this looks like a handbag. Let's do handbags, and then there's
so you have drawn something else. It could have been something else.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes,
Wow.
Absolutely. And now it's really fun for me to look at something. For instance, there is an old painting here in another room. I looked at it recently when I just had 5 minutes drinking a coffee, and I thought it could be a handbag. It looks like a handbag. So now I'm only thinking in handbags.
Oh my, wow.
And why Thaden? Why not Kristina Thaden? I wanted it to be connected to me, so not creating a new name, because it's me. Everything you create is a part of you, right? If you write, if you think about questions in a podcast, it always comes out of your mind. So it's connected to me. That is what I want to show. But I don't want it to be Kristina Thaden, because it's always a bit risky to be connected too closely. I'm an entrepreneur, so I have to keep a certain kind of distance, and I have to make decisions which maybe I don't like in the first instance, and I shouldn't take it personal. And also there are famous examples of what can happen with your name. If we think about Jill Sander, she sold her brand and then she bought it back because she wasn't happy about what happened to her brand. So I thought with Thaden it's a good compromise.
Wow, interesting. So a brand that carries your family name, but there is that distance as well, a safe distance that you're prepared for something extreme that happened some years later. Hopefully it won't, but if in a extreme occasion that it actually happened, that distance is there to sort of protect you. Wow. Okay. Now you've done this for a few years. When did you start the brand again, Thaden?
In 2020.
Okay.
And I started it with the first trip to Italy. The only thing I knew back then was that there is a famous town in Italy where they do handbags. I've heard about Italy, I've heard about Zurich in Spain. That was all I knew back then. I had a very good NDA because of my management background, and I had technical drawings. So I had my sketches, which are very rough. I'm not a talented painter or anything. Then I found somebody who put it into a 3D version, and everything was outlined. And then I went to Italy and tried to make appointments. The thing is, you don't find the good ones in the internet. So I did the tour and just started somewhere. In the end, I didn't cooperate with the ones I met during the first trips.
Okay.
It's all about building up your network and finding the right partners.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, if you think back, I think from what your description, the handbag actually found you, rather than you found the handbag. Right?
Oh, that's wonderfully said.
So if now you look back 5 years ago, do you sometimes wish it wasn't a handbag that you drew? It was like a piece of jewelry. So you might start a jewelry line that called Thaden, right? Or there's something else, a pet leather goods, something like that. Do you ever think of that?
Yes, you can read my mind. A couple of times actually, because when I started, we had a fully developed cosmetics line with 11 products, and I was thinking back then, shall I do this or shall I do handbags? Maybe it's easier to do handbags.
Why did you think it's easier?
I have no idea, and I can tell you, I wouldn't say it's the opposite, but it was definitely not easy. And I call it the very useful founder naivety. So that you don't know what's,
I like that founder's naivety, yes.
That you don't know what's ahead of you, because maybe then you would not even start.
Right.
Even if you anticipate as much as you can, it's not what it is at the end. What I can say is that creativity is like water. It's fluid, so it does not stop. So I created jewelry already. I draw fashion. I created furniture. So a lot of things I'm still writing. I don't want to limit myself. That is also a part of the narrative of Thaden, and because I founded it when I was 40. Don't limit yourself. I mean, if there is something you want to do, if you have a passion about it, give it the space and just find out about it and go into a dialogue with the project. Listen to what's coming to you. Yeah.
Have a dialogue with your inspiration, with yourself.
Exactly. I consider myself as the transmitter. Wherever it comes from, of course it comes from me, but if I just listen carefully and also try to be silent somehow, then there is something which creates itself out of itself.
Right.
Yes, and also you can hear when it's finished. So imagine you have a stone and you try to work on a stone. At a certain point, the sculpturist knows now it's finished. The shape is there. It appeared, and that's the same for a sculpture, for a handbag.
Is the founder's naivety the reason why you chose also a luxury sector to step into with your brand, right? With your handbag brand. And luxury sector is so dominated by only a few players who are doing, I guess, well, and then they have a huge empire, right? So were you, at the time, you must know this fact, but you still chose to step into this. So does that mean that you were prepared to fight the battle with all these conglomerate players in the luxury sector?
Half and half. I would say both. Somehow I had no idea how tough it is. What I knew back then is that I cannot skip the decades and decades you need to build legacy. And especially with handbags, in my opinion, even more than with clothes, it's about the name of the brand. The quality can even be poor. You pay 2,000, 3,000, and I know about the quality. Of course, there are also luxury brands which do top-notch quality, but also the other side. So for me, it was clear I have to have a narrative which does not try to build on this legacy of being there for decades. And I created a sentence for myself. And I know it's very bold, but I'm not here to aim low. It's every legend has its beginning.
That's true.
And it's luxury without heritage, but with a very strong, with a very unique look and a craftsmanship which is outstanding, which you rarely find nowadays. For instance, this is hand sewn.
Wow.
And it really takes a while. I mean, we can scale up the production, but we cannot skip that somebody has to sew this part by hand. And it's a rare find nowadays, this hand sewing. And also the shape itself, I knew because of the production intensity, it will have a certain price. And so we are in the luxury segment, but also that this is an outstanding bag, which you have never seen before.
Now, you mentioned just now that back then you didn't know how tough it was. Now you realize how tough it was. What are some of the toughest things that or challenges you have to encounter in this sector?
I can say that the last years were a constant fight, and it was not pleasurable. And I know how it looks on the outside if people think, hey, you go so well. The truth is production, the most of the time was horrible for me as a woman, due to the fact that my volumes are very low. And that is financially not very attractive for the suppliers. So firstly, you have to build a strong relationship with them. You have to convince them of the vision and that they believe that the project or the brand will grow and that they do right if they now somehow invest in you. On the other hand, at this period, most of them are not willing to sign a production contract. Or if there is a bigger brand and they need volumes now, you get postponed with what you want to do. And I experienced twice, which was horrible, that I've been kicked out from one day to another. Wow. And I had a big delivery for Joyce Hong Kong.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
And that was a nightmare. I mean, at the end...
You got kicked out because the volume is still not big enough, even by Joyce Hong Kong.
Certain reasons. This reason was that they realized I had to change my first manufacturer because he got too old, and I found a new one who is very famous and produced for the best luxury brands. And I think he also wanted to show that he's capable of doing this bag. In the end, he realized how complex it is, how long it takes, and how much we had to develop and work on it. And
so it's the incompetencies of the supplier.
Yes, and also maybe that he gave me a production price. At the end, he realized maybe it wasn't the right production price, but now it was set. So he decided to make a cut. At this point, he didn't manage to give me my material back. Somehow, I would not say he refused, but he didn't care about it. But I had to bring it to a new manufacturer, and at the end I had to say I have to call the police now.
Wow.
And it was only me all the time, and I can be tough, but I'm a woman. I prefer to be cooperative, and that were strong learnings, because I had to learn that if I bring the money, big or small, I have to have certain clarity on project, or to be safe that if they take on the project, they will do it. So I had to learn and to adapt my behavior a lot.
So the manufacturer that you're partnering now, or the manufacturer, the second one or the third one you found back?
No,
then?
this is I think it's the fourth. Now I'm everything changed, and now it's wonderful.
Is that because your back appear in a mainstream, TV program, and you got so many interviews, so they suddenly recognize you?
No, actually, the story how I found my current manufacturer is a story of cooperation, which I love, because there is another brand here in Zurich, Peter Nitz. He's a close friend. He's also doing luxury brands. Luxury bags. He was also in Emily in Paris, and we didn't know when we met. And he introduced me to my manufacturer in Romania, Entrenched. And this company is run by a woman since decades. And it's a difference. She produces for, I cannot say the name of the brands, but she produces for well-known luxury brands. And she's always on time and precise and obsessed with making the things right. More importantly, I would call it my modelista, my technician, because these bags, these designs, it's all about the perfect technical development. And with Lucian Sopa, who has his atelier in Romania, I found somebody who never said, never ever, which I experienced before, always, we cannot do this. Your expectations are too high. This does not work. He goes above and beyond with me to make it perfect. We redeveloped every single bag, and we improved it to 15%, I would say.
Higher. He or she?
He.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been working with I think luxury is all about money, but this person is willing to support and partner with a new brand, relatively new brand, at the very beginning. I think you're still at the very beginning of your brand, right?
Yes.
And he's willing to partner with you at the very beginning of your journey.
Yes.
To support you.
Exactly, and that means a lot, because somebody has to invest. It's an investment of time and because this time it takes to redevelop, to industrialize even more, it's you cannot even pay for it. And And it's interesting because I'm producing now in Romania, and in my label is written proudly made in Romania, because people have so many bias about made in, where it is made in. And luckily nowadays the narrative changes a bit, that they realize made in Italy does not mean made in Italy, and it doesn't matter where something is made. I also was at a wonderful manufacturer in China. At the end my volumes were too low, but they were wonderful people, and they did very good work. And if I think about Romania, I pay exactly the same amount as I pay in Italy. They are so dedicated to this project. I'm so very happy, and it's all about the people and the team.
So I think that's fascinating story and the journey, I would say, that you've taken. Now that you have, I would say, yes, it's still a young brand, especially in the luxury sector sense, but it is established. Now, how would you describe the essence of Thaden and the design that you have put together under this brand?
I always say the world does not need a new handbag brand, but we need strong narratives, and that something is made with a real purpose. And now we have here the signature bag. And what you see is, in my opinion, a freeze of a movement, or it's still radiating, and that what the wearer is. And that should mirror the personality of the wearer. And the essence of Thaden is to show who you truly are, what is your essence, and to support you in unfolding. Especially this design is about unfolding who you truly are. And that is a journey. I mean, usually we are on a lifelong journey to find out who are we, which is somehow weird, right? Because we are with ourselves the whole day. And we have to find out who we are. And when you wear a Thaden, I hope, and that is what I get as a feedback from clients, is you become instantly visible if you enter into a room, because it's a bag you have never seen before. And I say yes, and then you are recognized as a multifaceted personality.
I love the unfolding.
Yes.
I think as any one of us go on our life journey, many things that you will do at different stage of your life, then you actually realize, oh, I actually can do this. I can, like, I only started this podcast 6 years ago. I didn't know I can do podcasts, I can do content. But now I know I can do content. So that's that unfolding talent that you're talking about, right?
Yes. It's we limit ourselves so often. Be it because we learned it in childhood, what kind of self-talk we have. I mean, how often do we have a very abusive self-talk, which is horrible. I work on that strongly, to be as kind to myself as I would be to friends and family, and to say, am I limited here, or why did I not just try? And if it fails, I would never say it's a fail. There is no fail. There's just learning.
For those people who, if they didn't see the video, or they are just listening to our podcast, they probably don't know what your bag looks like. I mean, we'll include a photo of your bags in our show notes, right? But if people are just listening, they don't know what your bag looks like. How do you describe your bag? Because when I first looked at the picture of your bag, my first reaction was, wow, that's a very difficult bag to make. Just like early on, you said that you're a manufacturer. It's not just handcraft, right? But it's folding or bending the leather to make it into almost like the Oriental fan, handheld fan shape. But it has to be bended so beautifully, and it has to be functional, because you actually can put a lot of stuff inside. I'm looking at the inside. Oh wow, a big compartment. So describe your bag for our listeners, and describe the process of you creating this bag. Like, how do you arrive at this one at the end, and why do you think this, not only it's a good looking bag, it carries so much meaning that you just shared with us, but it's also functional?
Interestingly, most of the designs I start with look different at the beginning for what they look at the end.
Oh.
This bag looked how it looks now. But I had to figure out so much technical aspects. So you can imagine it's there are pleats, and the pleats form around a hole, and the bag is called the hole, but it's written with WHOLE. I always say this bag is a universe. It's all it takes. It's the whole, and I play with words here, and it declines. So it's larger at the top, and then the pleats got smaller and form around the hole. And making my drawings a bag was quite a challenge, because I was invited by the best manufacturers, and they said, we like the designs. I remember there was one manufacturer saying, yeah, that's the Ferrari amongst the handbags, but we don't know how to nail it down.
Ferrari.
Yeah, I would prefer Aston Martin.
I agree.
And we started with various techniques. We tried with hot molding, making it a very rigid, preformed bag. And I said, but it lose this. It's not alive anymore. And I wanted a leather handbag. Then we thought about having metal rails in it, but the weight got too heavy, and so we had to figure out, how do we reinforce it. It's this reinforcement story is such a huge story. Then it comes to the side panels, and because it is zigzag, the bag, it was clear that there is no macchina colonna, no sewing machine, who can stitch into these corners. And also that you don't have, we even improved it in the new production, that you don't have visible holes here where it is stitched. So when you would cut the bag, inside it's really an engineerial masterpiece. And that's why I am so happy about my collaboration with my current technician, because we took the bag and we said, okay, now we build it from the beginning again, and look what we can improve. That was amazing.
Wow. This bag can carry stuff. I look at the compartment. I didn't realize it's big.
Yes.
I mean, look at the photo. I was like, oh, that's a very tiny bag. Maybe just one hand mobile. That's about it.
The mobile is tricky with the mini.
Oh.
That's because we have the hole, and that is we cannot change it. This is the medium size. Here is not an issue. And then there is even a bigger size. And we had it only for the big. Now we will have it also for the medium. You can click in charms in the hole, so you can give it a little light. And that's even more exciting, because we are cooperating now with the jewelry brand, and they will do fine jewelry charms. So that's amazing.
Oh, I think there's so much you can play with that hole.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yes.
So many accessories that you can design and make that hole even more interesting.
Yes, and I can drop it already. There will be a clutch without the handle, and then you can wear it, this will be a bit not so high. Now the listeners just have to anticipate what I'm talking about, but you can put your hand into the hole.
Got it. Well, we've got a video, so
yes.
we'll show them this clip. Now, you designed this interesting, or created this brand and designed these interesting bags sitting in Zurich. You were originally born in Germany, but then your husband is from Zurich, so you moved here several years ago. So you're now doing everything out of Zurich. Now, I hope the Zurich government wouldn't chase after me, but I think it is fair to say that when it comes to, say, fashion design or luxury design, you wouldn't think Zurich is a hub or a city, known for luxury or design or even fashion, right? Chocolate, yes, but not fashion. But you're based here. Do you find that a limitation, or you actually see completely different vibe in these cities or even in this country that can allow more creativity to shine, because you don't have that much, I guess, luxury or design legacy or baggage to fight, right? So what is it like for you?
I love this question because it's something worth to talk about. If it's a limitation to be based in Switzerland, in Zurich, and I think it's totally the opposite. Yes, there might be a benefit if you're based in Paris, in London. There are the strong fashion councils, for instance, also in Milano or in Italy, New York, the same. And we are not strong with this here in Switzerland. On the other hand, Swiss reputation is wonderful, and we think about chocolate Alps, but also about luxury and precision. Swiss is connected with precision, on time and everything like that. So that is already the fundament, that if you create a product and it's designed in Switzerland, connected to Switzerland, we think, oh, it's precise, it's well made. And then because it's a rare find, if it's not a watch brand and it's connected to luxury, Switzerland is very supportive about that. I got recently a lot of organic press, and of course, due to being shown in Emily in Paris and then being a Swiss brand, is super interesting for the Swiss press. But also outside of Switzerland, they are picking up on that. You referred to this wonderful interview in Vogue Italy. I told them the story about how everything started in Italy, but then, okay, it's a brand based in Switzerland. So for me, it's rather a benefit. Plus, it's easier to have wonderful cooperations. For instance, I strongly cooperate with Swiss tourism, with Zurich tourism. We had been in New York end of last year with Christmas huts from Zurich, with famous brands such as Lind or Söder, Yannick Zamboni, and we had our Christmas huts there showing to press in New York Swiss designed or Swiss made products.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the government actually is doing a lot of, or taking a lot of effort to promote the creative and design industry.
Yeah, the tourism department. Yes, because they are strongly connected to PR agencies in New York, in Paris, in Berlin, and they are doing a lot. We just recently had a press day where they invited Harper's Bazaar and so forth to come to Zurich to meet Swiss brands.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Do you, because you set up a company here, right? Because I know there are a lot of countries or cities, they will come up with all sorts of incentive scheme or policy just to incubate or encourage and support certain sector. Do you have that in Zurich or in Switzerland, in the line of business that you're in?
I don't know actually if there is any kind of there might be a support in terms of founding or a credit. I don't know, because I never took this. But to have to be an entrepreneur, to run a company in Switzerland is I like it a lot. I can compare it with, I don't know, Germany.
Okay.
So it's the country itself is very supportive for running a company. Yeah.
Fantastic. I remember in one of your interview, you mentioned that your bags, you like to see it more than just bag, it's a wearable art. And I look at your bag, I will be very happy to wear it on the street because it's unique and you don't get a lot of similar bags. I don't think I've ever seen any in walking down London High Street, right? So it is a wearable art. You are actually an artist. I look at the things that you've done before. So what's the role of art playing in, I don't know, the philosophy behind Thaden, the bag that you're designing? What's the role of art? Because there's art and then there's design. For us, not really a designer, we sometimes don't know the difference, probably, or we wouldn't take the effort to really find out the difference between them.
The question is if there is a difference, and I have to think about it, actually. Let's say I was at art, recently we had Art Basel, and then you see this wonderful art and you have one piece. And of course, if you create a product, you repeat, you produce, and you have many of them. The initial process, in my opinion, is very close to creating art. And I always say, I don't come from design, I come from the art perspective. That's what differentiates my collection from classical bags, let's say, which can make it harder to succeed, but can also be a catapult, a multiplier, because it's not the typical find of a handbag. And my creation process is thinking in sculptures, and maybe that is the difference. I don't know if it's how it is for other designers. Let's think about Iris van Herpen, I think it's her name, or the couturiers. For me, they are artists rather than designers, and they make just one piece of their creations. And I want the wearer to connect to this as a wearable work of art, and to consider herself or himself, whatever, as a piece of art. So we as humans are a piece of art, and you wear a piece of art.
Also, if you buy a bag that itself is an art piece, it lasts forever. Because anytime it's timeless, right? Anytime you take it out and you wear it going down the street, there's no sort of, oh, that's last season, or that's a certain season of certain year. It doesn't have that label to it, because it itself is timeless. So I think that's sustainable, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's long lux. It's buy timeless. Of course, it's nice economically if you are the new it bag, but there is a huge risk that the next season nobody wants you anymore. So I prefer to grow organically, and that people understand it's really a precious piece of art that they are wearing. And that's what happens when you wear the bag. So there are a couple of beautiful stories to tell, not only by myself, but also I hear the feedback from my clients, what happens when you wear the bag. Because you talked about London, I remember we wore the new it bag in Harrods in London. They saw the collection the first season I presented it, end of 2022 in Paris, and they said, we want you in Harrods somehow, but we don't buy products anymore. And it was clear I cannot afford a store-in-store concept. So they created an exhibition in their penthouse, VIP access only, together with Schiaparelli, Delvaux, Moynard.
Wow.
And I was there during this exhibition, of course. And I walked across the Bond Street, and somebody was shouting across the street from the other side, what a bag. And these things happened constantly when I started wearing my own bag. Because firstly, I had to wait for the design patent to go through. It's worldwide design patented, and just after, for instance, in China, if you want a design patent, you cannot wear it on the street. Whereas in New York, in the US, you have 1 year. It can already be published for 1 year, and you can wear it. So when the patent was through, I was allowed to wear it outside. And then amazing things happened because it gets attention.
Exactly.
I made a press dinner in Paris, and let's say the first assistant of Marilyn Fitoussi, which is the head of costume department, he came, and I asked him actually, because I didn't know how they found me. And he said, maybe it was because of Harrods, it made some waves in the industry, or they found me via Instagram. Because they talked to so many brands he didn't know perfectly back then. And they reached out to my sales manager in Paris and said, please send us. So then they asked for the lookbook, and then they ordered a couple of bags. And then I didn't hear anything for a couple of weeks or months. I think it was a month. And I reached out and I said, okay, is there any news? And I remember, because it's not sure that they do the fitting, and maybe they take the bag or not. The costume department, I mean, they have rooms and rooms filled with every accessory you can imagine. And he told me, yeah, we shot one bag, which was already like, wow. And then I called them 2 weeks later, I don't know why. And he said, we shot 3. The third one is not so visible. The camera angle is not so good, but 3 bags. I mean,
my God.
yeah, I was.
That's quite a visibility in the drama.
Yes, and the only feeling I had was that I was excited. I didn't feel like it's a pop culture thing and maybe it becomes a trend, because for a brand like mine, this kind of visibility you cannot achieve it organically in another way.
Especially for a young brand, that visibility is godsend.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And they are wonderful people. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into this organic placements. It's not a paid cooperation. And then when they were at the press dinner, they told me the moment they saw the little rocket, which was worn by Lily Collins in the first episode of season 4, they saw the bag and they said, we wanted to create a whole look around this bag.
Wow.
Which was, I mean,
create a whole look around this bag.
Yeah, it was jaw-dropping. They looked for something in red, specifically in red, but then they saw this bag and thought, this is it. That was amazing to hear.
Oh, amazing. Do you have a rocket here in your home, or
yes?
You want to show it?
Yes.
In the camera?
Yes, I can show it. It's actually the original one, I think. The last one I had.
Okay. So that's the bag that Lily Collins actually used and wore in episode 1. Did you say?
Yes. Season 4, episode 1, and there was a hat half. Like she had a hat in her hand and it covered half of the bag, and I was like, why this hat? Why?
Now that's also a unique shape when it comes to bags. Can you open it and let us see how this inside? Oh my goodness. And
I mean, of course, if somebody sees the bag and likes it, that is what counts the most. But again, to make it technically is
another challenge.
Really.
I think every bag of yours is a challenge itself, isn't it?
The biggest challenge is to make easy bags for me.
But then easy bag just becomes, just season, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, yes. I mean, the thing is, I created a collection of easy bags, and we will launch a new handbag line for Fashion Week in January, contemporary priced, because easier to make, and yeah.
So this bag and the other, what do you call it? The
whole.
They're very different. So obviously this design came first.
This came.
Oh, that came first. Oh, wow.
And it looked 100% different.
From the original drawing, you mean?
Yes.
Now, how do you transition from that look to this look? Just like the idea or the picture of this just came to you all of a sudden?
Yes. This was a work in progress because it really looked different. This was there. That's why it's so close to me and my personality. This bag was just there. I don't know how to explain it, but it showed itself and said, please.
But your bag really is artwork, because I look at that. That's a China red. And I can imagine, displaying it in a sitting room in a Chinese family as a piece of artwork that brings good fortune because of the color and the shape, because it's round.
That's so wonderful to hear.
Is there some sort of China red behind it? I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. I cooperate with the Swiss Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and we did an event together, and they told me, oh, it's a beautiful China red. And I said, and I put a lot of effort in finding the right red. And
lovely. It's like double circle, and then into Chinese double circle. is.
So everything at this design tells a story. The curve is everywhere. You see also here, it's repeated. Then it's a bit of the female curves.
Yeah.
Then it's called the little rocket. So you wear it, and in my opinion, it's like gives you energy, makes you feel strong. That's why I decided to call it the little rocket. The name, the initial name was the moon.
Oh.
I renamed it. And then we have the two circles. Yeah. Yeah.
So now this bag appeared in Emily in Paris. Obviously, because of the popularity of the show, it becomes visible, right? And I saw some Chinese posts on Chinese 小红书 social media platform also talked about this one. Your bag is one of the few that got featured in Emily in Paris. But then it's, like I said, it's, do people think of your brand then as a fashion brand instead of a luxury brand? Does it bring to you something that you never thought about as a burden that came with this media exposure?
So that it could be damaging if they consider it too much as a pop culture. Not in my experience. I think they understand that it's unique shape, that the bags have unique shape, and I never was afraid that it becomes a trend because of that, and that is also due to the price point, because it takes so long to be made in production. The price point is in the luxury segment, so again that limits us to become a trend bag. Yeah.
We mentioned, or I mentioned very briefly, China. So when I was gathering information about you and your brands, obviously I went on to 小红书. This is the platform now in China. So I went on to 小红书 and see if I can find posts about you and your bags, because Emily in Paris is quite popular in China as well. I found a few posts, but not a whole lot. So when you were creating Thaden, was China one of the market that you would like to go in? And then have you tried, or was it a success, or it was not so successful as you thought? And early on, you also mentioned that you did something together with the China Chamber of Commerce, right? Here for an event around Chinese New Year. So you certainly have taken some effort to come much closer to China. So do you want to explain to us or share with us your China experience, other than the manufacturer that is wonderful in the south of China?
Yes. So and I should also show you later. There is a specific design I created, having Chinese young women in mind.
Oh,
the love curve. I will get it later.
Love curve.
What I understand is that it's about having good collaborations with KOLs, key opinion leaders, like who can tell the brand story. And that if we talk about a luxury brand, it's about the name and the legacy, which I cannot skip. So it's important that I have the right partners, the right influencers. And until now, I couldn't make this effort to find the right partner in China who would then tell me who is the right KOL for me.
Oh, okay.
And for me, to be cultural sensitive is very important for me as a brand which comes from Europe. To show I think about what I'm doing if I enter into the Chinese market. I just don't want to enter like this, like most of the brands do. But I would love to do certain kind of collaborations there, also with artists. That would be, I think, very, very good for the brand, to show I think about the country I want to bring my brand to.
If you wanted to work with influencers in China, the matching influencers, right, like you said, what are the criteria that you put out there? Do they have to be young, or they need to be certain age to appreciate your journey and appreciate the artwork of your design? What are those criteria?
I'm not sure if I can define the criteria already, because there might be something I don't know already. And that's what I think is so important, to know the things and to do the things right. What I can say in terms of criteria here in Germany, Europe, whatever, one of my brand ambassadors, let's say it's the first one, is a very close friend. It's Petra van Bremen. She is 66.
Oh.
She's an international top model, and she's a wonderful soul.
Okay.
She has long gray hair. For me, there is no age, honestly. It might be the case that in certain countries it's focused on younger generations. Okay, then I will for sure stick to it, but I always want to disrupt a bit. Because we all get older, right? If we are lucky. And that's how it is in our biology. And we have to show that we are also great if we are 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever.
Good for you.
Yes.
I actually have someone in mind, but I'll share that with you when we're off microphone and off camera.
Thank you.
I just don't know how expensive it will be.
Yeah, this is called the love curve, and I like to have the message very clear out there. So I have to get this back, the hole again. On one of the bricks holding the handles is engraved, "You deserve love." I mean, we all deserve love. We need to firstly love ourselves, which is the biggest challenge. But we deserve to feel appreciated. And loved. Our brain needs it, our amygdala and so forth. And here we have a heart forming the handles. And usually you have a handle, which is always like a normal handle. And I thought, how can I change this narrative? And so you see, it's a heart. And some people wear it like the standard, but for me as an artist, I thought if you don't wear it with a shoulder strap, you hold it like this, so it hangs diagonal. So it's again a bit different to the standard. And
your back is so also different, but every one of them really is a artwork.
And this is an entry price bag, and this is important to me, that if you cannot afford the whole right away and you want to be connected to the brand, maybe you can start with this bag.
And this is gold color. Does it come in, how many colors does it come into?
In black and in red at the moment, and then there will be special editions in rosé, or then we can also do painting on the leather, collaborations with artists, what I would love to do. So there are so many ideas.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The next big section of this podcast, I want to talk to you as an artist. Earlier we talked about being in Switzerland, right? Because it's not known as a base for fashion, not base for design. But you actually started your artist journey or career here. Sort of.
Let's say with a brand, I started it here. I lived in Bern for 5 years, so I started in Bern. But as an artist, I started in Cologne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah. So I worked as a speaker. Then I learned musical singing at the boarding school where I was. There was connected a musical or singing school. And actually, I wanted to study classical singing, but I ended up on the acting school and studied acting. Then I learned directing. And then it changed again, because being a freelance theater director, you don't earn a lot of money, so you have to ensure you have another job. And I got promoted in the jobs I took on. I was a team leader at a market research company. Then I did further education as a project manager, trainer, coach, and so forth. And the last position was deputy managing director at a Swiss construction company. So
Construction.
so really different.
Oh my God, wow.
Yes, and that's why I think at a certain point I thought I learned so much about management, which is super useful. And in fact, running Thaden is much more management than being creative.
Yes.
But I had to go back to arts. My inner child longed for going back to some creativity.
But as an artist, you said you have done art creation in Germany, have done art creation in Switzerland. Which, is it fair to compare these two? Because I'm sure they have all their own uniqueness, right? And then they have their own environment. But if you're given a choice that you can choose to go back to Germany for the rest of your life and be an artist, or staying here, which will be your choice?
Wow, that's interesting to think about, because it's tricky, as I was a different person back then. When I was an artist in Cologne, I was solely an artist. It was before becoming a manager, so my whole lifestyle was different, and I was different. Now that I had this career starting Thaden, I am at another point in life. But running a luxury brand, and I would say it's rather being an entrepreneur than an artist. I prefer to do it in Switzerland. I think it's easier. Also I could build a great network here, as it is so luxury related. Just think about St. Moritz, Gstaad, Geneva, Zurich. We have a lot of luxury clientele here. If I think about being a director again, maybe something like Cologne or Berlin would be very attractive. But then it's again another life. Yeah.
Switzerland, you just reminded me when we're on the way from the airport to your place that Switzerland is actually not part of EU. Now, for you, I'm sure you have ambition for Thaden to be an international brand. So for you to be in a country that Switzerland not part of EU, is there a limitation, or not really?
We have my little dog here saying hello, if you can hear the sound.
She's actually very quiet compared to my dog.
I mean, of course, we have to figure out custom things. I would not call it issues, because here is a lot of support. If you have questions, how you can solve problems with shipping products from A to B into another country, you get support from the government. Not being in the EU, I haven't experienced any disadvantages, but I have a company also in Italy for buying material. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Being an artist or creating art, it actually itself is a process of taking a lot of risk, right? Taking a lot of risk, like in your case, taking a lot of risk with material that probably at the end fell, taking a risk with the design and all that. So do you remember what are some of the most recent creative risks that you've taken that either you think, I fell miserably, but I learned something from it, or the risk that you're so glad that you've taken because it paid off now for you and your brand?
I would say every single step I take was a risk. Still, many of them are risks, and I can share some stories about that. For instance, there are clients who wait very long for their bags. And I'm so, and that is something people would say, don't share it publicly. And I say, I do. Because for a small brand, and also bigger brands, clients have to wait. But for a small brand, if you produce something and then there is a mistake in a metal piece, I don't know, because not a mistake, but you realize that with the other components, it does not fit. So you have to redo it. And then you have to explain it. to your clients, or you decide we somehow try to make it work and then it's not perfect. I always decided, and that it's a huge risk, to be very transparent with the clients. We write them the email and saying we have to redo and you have to wait 3 more months.
Okay.
Horrible moments. But what I experienced, when you are transparent with your clients and you take this risk of sharing what's going on with a small brand, nobody jumped off the order. Nobody wanted a refund.
Really?
Nobody.
Amazing.
And that is amazing, but you sweat. You are super nervous. It's not what you like. It's not, especially at that moment, now not anymore, because the production is perfectly set. But when you have to change a production, it's a huge risk. When you start a new leather, when you try a new leather, and you have to try the leather at the back, and you wear the sample and you think it's great, and then you get the whole order, and then you realize, oh, but this specific color does not work, and we have to redo it. Again, there is a delay. Like you take a lot of risks in production because you deal with small volumes. And then if we talk about design, and people tell you at the beginning, do something which is easier to make, do something which is not so expensive in production, make loose bags, this is the trend. I remember precisely when I started with the Little Rocket, they all told me, it's not a trend, don't do this bag. And I mean,
if you didn't do this bag, you wouldn't be on Emily in Paris.
But you know, I'm a sensitive person, so I'm. And if you hear it constantly, like everybody has an opinion, you really have to start to learn and to adopt that. Yes, I can listen left and right, but not too much. Maybe I put an earplug in it, just I hear some noise. And you have to trust your intuition, which is the hardest process. And I mean, I'm blessed with a good night's sleep, which is very useful as a founder, because overnight you can sort some things.
Yeah.
But I remember all these moments, and they are ongoing, when you think like, I have to sacrifice this design, I have to change something here and there. And I had a meeting with the biggest department store in New York, and she was a huge fan of the Little Rocket, not of the signature bag, which I thought, but she was a total fan of that. And imagine I would have listened to the others not making this bag. Yeah.
Of all your customers who had to wait, what was the longest wait? Do you remember?
9 months.
Seriously?
Yes.
And that customer didn't jump off the order, like you said.
She's a friend now.
Wow.
And that's not a joke. She's from that is what happens often here in Switzerland, and that's why I love that in Switzerland I drive to my customers quite often. For instance, I have a couple of bags now. The production is the next production batch is sent in 2 weeks. Then I have a couple of clients in Basel, and sometimes I make a little event and I give them their bags. And this specific client I met, and she's a collector. She collects Hermes and Thaden, which is a nice mixture, I would say.
Very classy.
Yes, and because I always brought her the bags. She invited me for breakfast. I know her whole family now.
Amazing.
And she understands, and
wow.
Yeah, but this is new luxury. It's not. We are not faking. We tell the story, and I mean, I got very nice feedback from a client. I told him, I'm so sorry, it takes 4 weeks more than expected. And he said, it's a work of art, I can wait. And it makes me emotional because, you know, it shows the personal relation to the brand.
That's the best recognition
that
you can earn.
Yes.
Your clients, are they mostly European? Do you have a lot of clients in Asia? Not
already. I would love to. I mean, there was Joyce, Hong Kong. There is a nice story. They found they saw the collection when I firstly presented it end of 2022 in Paris, and the head buyer said, quote, and it's really amazing. She said, "We haven't had a handbag moments for a year. moment for years, and then we saw your collection, your lookbook.
Wow.
And I mean, it's choice, right?
Yeah.
And that is amazing. And I would love to enter more into the Asian market. Most of the clients are in Europe, which is great because establishing a luxury brand in Europe is still what counts, in my opinion. So clients from France, from the UK, Switzerland, Germany, also Spain, then the US. Yeah, and now we also start with some events in the Middle East. Yeah.
I think working on someone else's business as a professional manager versus running your own business is very, very different, isn't it?
Yes.
This is life or death.
Exactly. So it has it's positive and negative. It's light and shadow. You know, it can be very nice to say, yeah, but now I want to do this, and there is nobody giving me a deadline. On the other hand, you can be your worst enemy yourself. So this, when do I have to stop, or better done than perfect, is something I really have to learn. I think it's typical for us women that we try in this Pareto principle that to achieve the last 20%, and if you are your own boss, you really force yourself too much sometimes. Yeah.
Now, all these long hours that you put into Thaden, your own business and creation and all that, when was that moment you feel I'm finally, someone's finally seeing me, I'm finally validated, what I'm doing is the right thing, the right direction, the right sector I'm in? When was that moment?
There was let's say there wasn't the moment, there was a couple of moments where I realized I always pushed the ball up the hill. In German you say it, you push the ball up the hill and it rolls back. Or you write emails and people simply do not reply. Who are you? I mean, you just started and the doors are closed. And to learn to be persistent and to not take a no as a no, or to say, okay, I have to write 100 emails to get 5 answers, and so forth. And there are moments when you think nobody takes notice, nobody cares about the brand. And I would say the first moment I remember is when I walked the dog and nothing was going on, nothing. And then I got an email from Harrods that they want to make this exhibition. And I think it's so important for us founders or for entrepreneurs who are running their own business is that it is really normal to feel the lowest lows. It's on the outside, now everybody tells me you're successful and whatever, but I really want to stress the lowest lows. And then to see, okay, there it started somehow. Then with Emily in Paris and with the great magazines and all this organic press, which is not for granted, and that they want to tell the founder story. Plus, now having the right producer. That changed a lot. Because now it's a different story for me as running this brand. I know I can place an order and I will get absolute perfect quality, and I can scale it up. And interestingly, when all these little bits come together, it's like exponential, as if there is another energy out there than a wholesale retail store wants your products, which said no for 2 years, the best ones, and the doors open and more people buy the bags, and now the ball is rolling. It's amazing.
It's interesting that you said earlier on that you're not very good at sketching.
Yeah.
Actually, Coco Chanel was the same. Because I did a series of episode with another co-host about Coco Chanel and her life story and how she became who she was before. She was very bad at sketching, but she actually has a partner who helped her visualize her inspiration and her ideas on paper. So, so I wouldn't worry about not being good at sketches. But I do want to ask you though, because, oh God, I think every episode I have to talk about AI. So yeah, I have to mention
Please.
AI. So you said you're not good at sketching. So, but there are so many tools that you can use these days, right? Do you use AI in your everyday work, especially when it comes to creating?
Not when it comes to creating, to creation. I use ChatGPT. I'm creating an AI agent now, which will help me a lot, I think, with structuring or administrational stuff. But I tried to give a good prompt. I think I'm open to it, but it can only be an extension of my mind. Then it's fine, but it can never replace. I cooperate with the university in Lugano and in Sorbonne, and they did, and the master students did some projects about potential cooperations of Thaden with brand X, and they created also with AI bags, new bags, or they created something at the bags with it was super interesting. And these young brains, like another generation
from another planet.
Yes, from another planet. But it's I love to work with them because they just have another approach and everything. Still, you sensed it. It is different. There is the heart. There is no heart and no soul in it. We have to get used to it, and I love it, and I use it. Still, we need the other side.
If you can collaborate with another artist from any discipline, right? Music, art, I don't know, pop culture, whatever, who would that artist be?
I can tell a nice story about an artist I admire, and she was an inspiration for the creation, which is Marina Abramovic. She has this, she says, beyond your fear lies what you desire. So we have to go through what we are anxious about or afraid of to see what happens behind it. And I met her in London. She took over, I don't know, 2 years ago, 2023. It was the Artist Takes Over, something in London. And I got the chance to talk to her, and I had my first ever made sample with me, the big version of the whole bag in light rosé. And I told her that she was an inspiration for this bag. And she looked at me, she said, but who made it and what is it? And I said, I made this and I want to gift it to you. And she said, okay. She gave me her room number and her hotel and told me bring it to the concierge there.
Oh my.
And I was like, wow. And I wrote her a letter, gave it to the concierge, but you never know, right?
Yeah.
And 1 month later, I got a long email from her, and it made me cry. And I would love to cooperate with her because she's so dedicated and she's uncompromising in what she's. I mean, it's even super extreme, but what she's doing is what she wants to do and what she thinks is important.
Would it be a bag that you want to collaborate with her?
I would love that there is a performance around the bags. I don't know, something like that. And there was also. I have to look it up because it's an Asian artist I saw in Art Basel. Maybe you know he makes these round circles. I will show you. Maybe we can add this. Yeah, but I would love to cooperate with certain artists.
It would be fun to see you collaborating with an artist from Asia.
Yes,
because two very different culture coming together.
And on our Instagram page, we actually showcase a lot of artists. So we have this art inspiration, and we talk about artists to connect the bags as a wearable work of art with artists. Yeah.
Wonderful. Right, so I want to ask you about the future of your brand. What's next for Thaden? You have, even though it's only 6 years, but you have had success, a very exciting establishment and recognition. So what's next for your brand?
I would, the first full business year is 2024. 4, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I consider the brand as very young. The aim is, and I aim very high, that in 5 years from now, I would like that Thaden is globally visible, globally known and recognized. But not only as a luxury accessories brand, but I aim that we are understood as a brand which comes with values and with a purpose, because this narrative of supporting you in finding your true essence is something which is very close to my heart. It's my own story, and we are starting a podcast this year, and
oh really?
yes,
lovely.
and a talk series where we invite inspiring women. We cannot have enough of this, I think. Yes.
So global success, meaning in every major countries like North America, more countries in Europe and in the UK, and of course strong presence in Asia.
Yes.
That to you is a global success.
Yes, absolutely. And a global success and a very personal success would be, I am in a city and I just see people wearing my bags. And it happened to me already. And I couldn't say anything. When I look back, I was like, oh gosh, you could have said something like, hey, it's me.
Why didn't you? You can go on as it.
I was stuck. I mean, I was so astonished and that it happened. I couldn't say anything.
So if your bag can be featured or being worn by anyone in the world, right? Who would that person be? That you would really like this person to wear your bag or carry your bag, or as there's a movie that you love and love and love the entire life, that you would like that movie to feature your bag?
There was one person I had in mind right from the beginning, and she got 2 bags recently, which is Amal Clooney. I mean, she's extraordinary, beautiful, but she what she's doing is amazing. There are some Hollywood stars which recently got bags. I'm not sure if I can name them, but we all know them. And now I'm waiting we are waiting that they are wearing them, and we see some photos, but you never know. And I would love that Michelle Obama would wear a bag.
Okay.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Somehow I believe I can make it work. Because I find ways. That is a strength. I can just find a way to make it work. And I would have loved that the Queen, imagine, I mean, with her classical beautiful handbags, that of course cannot come true anymore. But and beside that, every single wonderful client I have, it might sound a bit cliche, but every wonderful woman is wonderful to me if she wears a bag. Yeah.
So those are people that are wearing your bag. What about places or content or movie that you would like your bag to be featured?
A movie. I mean, we had this wonderful success with Emily in Paris. I think nowadays Netflix is really the place to be. There is White Lotus, for instance. Maybe this will work out someday. Let's see.
A 007?
Yes.
If the new 007 is a woman. Okay, so finally, I wanna ask you some fun and personal touch question. Earlier on, you said that you sometimes will come across or walk down the street or some city, you saw someone carry your bag, right? What is the most unusual place or occasion that you saw someone carrying your bag? You're like, oh, that's unusual, or the way they carry your bag is unusual, nothing that you expected.
Yes, so the first thing was that somebody carried this bag like this. So instead of using the handles like this, now I put my hand through the hole. That was new to me. And then it was really like this somehow. It was super cool. didn't have the idea wearing it like this. And then I saw the bag in white at a wedding at a beach. So I got photos from that, which was very nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you can share that photo with us, we can include it in the show notes. So finally, if you can describe yourself as a handbag, what would that handbag look like?
Would definitely look like the whole bag. And for certain reasons. I mean, you see the pleats, and it is about light and shadow, highs and lows, what we all have in life. It's about boldness and it's multifaceted. And it's a certain kind of radiance which you see around the back, and which I think if you have a passion for something, you have a radiance. And yes, it would definitely be the whole bag. Yes.
Now, finally, if our listeners love your bags and so inspired by your stories and your journeys, where can they buy your bags?
They can buy it online.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On your website?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. And
And
you
we
ship internationally?
Yes, we ship worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah.
But people or customers will have to deal with their own custom clearance?
It depends on the country.
Okay.
So shipping is included, it's complimentary, and VAT, of course, custom duties would need to be paid by the client. But we have a very smooth process in this regards. We can also let the person know in advance if she wants to anticipate this delivery at place. And hopefully, of course, in the very future, it can be bought in stores around the corner where you live.
Are you still in either Joyce or Len Crawford in Hong Kong?
Not now.
Not now.
But
okay.
maybe if they listen.
Let's hope, fingers crossed. Okay, so we're gonna carry or write out your website, so people, our listeners who are interested in your bag, they can just click open and take a look and then shop there.
Yeah, it would be wonderful. And also via Instagram, it's also possible.
Exactly. Or we'll carry your Instagram ID number as well for people to look. Kristina, thank you so much for sharing us your wonderful and inspiring story. And I really appreciate that you're not just not hiding the not so good part of the journey and your story. You're just very authentic and very honest and very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
I wish you all the success in the future.
Thank you so
much. I'm sure very soon I'll be able to buy your bag sitting in Shanghai or sitting in Hong Kong or Taiwan.
That would be amazing.
Thank you, Kristina.
Thank you, Bessie.
Okay. Bye-bye.